Good morning. I think the baby's agreeing with me. That's fantastic. The gospel story for today is so full of images, especially the prayer that we always say, mostly every day, the Lord's Prayer or Our Father. In Luke's gospel, Jesus portrays Jesus as a prayerful man. In Matthew's gospel, the Our Father is lengthy. In Luke's gospel, it's straightforward. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. Do not lead us into temptation. It's straightforward. In Jesus' time, when a teacher is teaching his apostles or disciples, has a role. The teacher or the rabbi needs to teach his apostles or disciples a certain prayer that they can use every day. This is the reason why Luke's gospel is straightforward, very short, so that his disciples can use this along the way. Now, Jesus addressed God, Yahweh, our Father. Jesus did not say, "My Father, hallowed be thy name." It says, "Our Father." And there's a reason for that. Jesus' mind is very communal. He is a family-oriented. He wants everybody to be included. Our Father. And also when we say our Father, this is an address to someone that you are loved or loved so much. And when we say our Father, and we thought and we think about our connection to that person, think about this. When Jesus is always doing something big or overwhelmed with work or crowds, he goes away to the mountain and pray and says, "Our Father." And also at the cross, he was still conversing to God. Forgive them for they do not know what they're doing. Jesus' life is prayer in itself. And also when we say our Father, it's not just the part of one person, it's the entire being, the being of God. Think about this with your spouses or husbands. You love the person not because he's tall, dark, and Filipino. No. You love the person because who he is and who she is. The shortcomings, the beauty, everything about the person. With your grandchildren, do the same when they're loud, and it is okay. Now, the second part, give us today our daily bread. This is a reference to the Old Testament in the desert when they were asking for food, manna from heaven. This is the reason why it says, give us today, only today. We don't have to worry about tomorrow, today. Food nourishes our body. And so, if you noticed, our Father, it is in the heart of this prayer. Give us today our daily bread. Prayer nourishes our soul. Prayer nourishes our body to continue on to our journey. When I was a seminarian, we have this community, and part of the training is you have to cook to the community. Well, I have a good friend. Actually, we are best friends. And you know, his name is Bobby Flay. Do you know Bobby Flay? Foodnetwork.com? Bobby Flay taught me so much. The simplicity of grilling. Yes, Jeff? It helps me to think about food and respect food in a way that nourishes my body. Not just take it all in, but appreciate everything about food to nourish myself and also those people who work for my food. And the same thing with prayer. We appreciate God, who gives us and delightfully gives us everything we need. And the last part of the prayer is, lead us not into temptation. Why did God say this? It says to have for us a joyful and hopeful heart. This is the end of the prayer. We have to be a hopeful Christians. If we don't have any hope in our lives, our faith is also dead. And Jesus said, faith, hope, and love. Those are the three things that are very important, and hope is part of that. Christian hope can help us to do what is best for us. And one example that I can give you, this past 2 days, I never experienced this. Only here at Holy Family. I had 2 sick calls yesterday morning. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. One in the morning, I went to the hospital, and this person was very ill. And his wife said, Father, the only thing I have right now is faith, hope, and love. And I said to myself, I'm a priest. People ask me to ask for prayers. But believe me, you teach me how to pray. And yesterday afternoon, I went for a home visit. This young woman who is dying with kids. And then we were praying the last rite. I never heard Our Father so powerful until this young kid held my hand and say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We pray the Our Father so much and several times in our lives. But do we mean it? Do we mean when we say Our Father? Are we connected to God? Are we connected to God when we say, forgive us from our trespasses? Give us today our daily bread. And that is a challenge for us today. Whether you're like Bobby Flay or not, whether we visit our sick brothers and sisters, or your grandchildren, or your spouses, the challenge for us today as Christians, be a hopeful Christians, that we may offer this faith, hope, and love to one another. Maybe today, on your pews, you can just hold hands with your friends. We need all of it. We need to pray for one another.